What's up, everybody? Corey here with the Movie Chumps, and I just got out of the theater, just watched The Life of Chuck, directed by Mike Flanagan, who did Dr. Sleep, Fall of the House of Usher, Haunting of Bly Manor, Haunting of Hill House, and starring Tom Hiddleston, also Kieran Gillen, Chiwetel Ejiofor, several other people as well, some of the Mike Flanagan crew who come along with him too. So this is based on a Stephen King short story or novella, I believe, that was in his collection called If It Bleeds. And I'm going to try to not spoil this too much, because if you've never read the novella and you're going into this cold, you'll want to go into this cold. It's basically this 3-act structure that's told backwards in time about this person by the name of Chuck Krantz, who is just a kind of mild-mannered accountant type person living a solid, wholesome life. And I kind of will just leave the plot at that. It's really kind of just an insightful look into how there can be beauty in the mundane, that a life that's lived simply still contains significance and importance and meaning to it. I think it's a beautifully shot film. I think the casting is excellent in this. I remember reading the short story myself, and I think this is one of the best translations from book to screen for Stephen King work that I've ever seen. Shawshank, is still number one, followed closely by Stand By Me and Green Mile. Of course, The Mist is great. It's funny how Stephen King's works that translate better to screen usually end up being the ones that are not horror-like. There is a little bit of a supernatural somewhat element to this in the third act, but mostly it's kind of more, it's about humanity more than anything else. Overall, it's wonderfully shot, fantastically directed. It's not Flanagan's best work, and it's definitely not the best translation of a Stephen King work ever. I was kind of, this one won the audience award at TIFF, the Toronto Film Festival, last fall, and it's gotten crazy great reviews, and I kind of was walking into this thing expecting it was going to be some type of masterpiece, and unfortunately it wasn't. That doesn't mean it wasn't a good film. It was a very good film. There's a couple times that made me tear up, but I did have a few issues with it. There were a couple times where it bordered a little bit too far into sentimentality, it felt like at times, and Nick Offerman does some voiceover. And that's the thing, is I think I've never been a big anti-voiceover guy. I know that happens a lot with films and whatnot, and in people in cinema classes and whatever, saying if you've done voiceover, you've failed your audience, blah blah blah. I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with a little bit of voiceover. However, I think in this case it was a little too much, and I don't know often if it was necessary to do so. But I kind of choose to focus more on how this movie made me feel, and it was just poignant. I thought about a lot of my own life, about what kind of life am I living. I thought about my mother, who passed of cancer 9 years ago this year. It's a lot. It brings up a lot of different thoughts and emotions, and just kind of introspective feelings. And I think that's one of the great things about film, is it can put you to those places sometimes. For that, I really did appreciate what it was going for. It's not the masterpiece that I was expecting, like I said, but it is still a well-crafted film, a well-acted film, with authorship and a viewpoint, and I did enjoy it. I'd probably give it a solid 8 on 10 in this instance. I was hoping that it would be more, but overall, very much enjoyed it. I would absolutely recommend this, and I would advise seeing it as well. That's it for me, Corey with the Movie Chumps. I'll see everybody next time.